Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 92 million miles is an utterly insignificant little blue-green planet whose ape-descended life forms are so amazingly primitive that two of them still think doing a podcast called Digital Watches are a pretty neat idea is a pretty neat idea. These podcasters have, or rather had, a problem, which was this. Actually, this is the solution.
This is a distraction. This is our passion. This is all about Douglas Adams. This is a podcast. This is a podcast. This was Digital Watches are a pretty neat idea. Digital watches are a pretty neat idea.
Hey, Brian, what's this?
Well, Jeff, this is the musical version of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. I feel like tap dancing.
Do we have to sing everything?
Yes, of course. We can do that, right? Actually,
Yeah.
This is issue 2 of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency's The Summit of Doubt comic book.
Great. Wonderful, wonderful. And another interesting cover with all three versions of Dirk Gently on it.
Yes, exactly. That's the very strange thing. Of course, it's all tied into the plumbing.
Yes.
Which, as we know, Reg has secreted the time machine's controls into the plumbing.
He's got some serious plumbing.
He certainly does. And he's hanging in there on the top of the page, and we got Sally Mills there, too. Somebody seems to have lost their hat. I'm not sure who, though. Oh, no, that would have been Sally's hat, I think, right?
Yes.
And they're all desperately trying to reach out to Bernice, who seems a little nervous hanging onto a pipe, but we'll see.
Okay, and there's some weird dripping things out of the drain pipes, so I'm not quite sure what all that is. It's a different color version of the rhino snot.
Yes, exactly. But you're right. We do see Dirk as a child, Dirk as he is in the comic books, and Dirk as he is in the television series.
Yeah, so we're going to go on, and I'm sure since this is the second issue, we're going to go through a previously on and a character page like the other comics, so we'll see. And yes, here we go.
Indeed.
Previously on.
Mm-hmm. As is the fashion in the previous versions, they have stolen panels from the first issue.
Correct. So basically we have Dirk realizing he's been reliving bad memories.
Mm-hmm.
And then he shows up in Cambridge with Sally. Then there's the giant troll in the middle strangling Bernice.
Mm-hmm.
Dirk and
Reg
having a tryst.
Mm-hmm. Embracing after a long time apart. Reg explaining the intricacies of the time machine, how he rewired it, and then the final panel is Sally looking at the television screens that we described at the end of the previous issue.
All right. We will go to page 2 and see who's going to show up in this comic. The goblin has a name. It's a goblin, not a troll.
I see. Yes, Peasbottom.
Peasbottom. A horrific goblin.
Mm-hmm. And who do we have in addition to that? Oh, we have our friends, the Rowdy Three.
Yes.
Times 4.
Right. Colonel Riggins.
Oh, interesting.
To me, in this panel, he reminds me of...
Rifle.
The guy in...
Rifle, right?
Well, the guy that was with Rifle.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
Right, so Rifle was the young, stupid guy.
Right.
And he was the guy in charge.
Right.
Trying to keep Rifle from shooting everybody.
Exactly. And then a young Svlad Zhili Dirk at age 6.
Which looks nothing like the version of him younger that they've already shown in the comics.
Correct. So which of the versions of his past are we now going to see? Interesting.
Or maybe we're having a incorrect memory.
Very likely. Very, very likely.
So now we'll start the story on page 3. So we seem to see Sally having a little bit of a breakdown because she's overwhelmed by all of the TVs in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
And at first glance, it is really confusing because lots of the pictures don't make sense because they're nothing we've ever seen.
Correct.
It appears that it is all kinds of different versions of Dirk. Some that we've seen, some that we have not. Some are male, some are female, some are tough guy, some are vastly overweight. So Sally's just scratching her head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite interesting. The one common thread that we were able to determine is that in each of the images where you can tell it's a duplicate of Dirk, he's wearing the green shirt.
Right.
But in the other ones, like from the TV show, he still has a yellow jacket. And then from the previous comic, the wild hair, but he's still wearing the green shirt. Wild. And in the bottom panel, we see an insert where Sally seems to have turned her face away from the screens and is receiving a message. Welcome, Mills. Sally Mills.
Yeah, she looks a bit worried.
Mm-hmm.
So we will go on to page 4. Now we've jumped to Dirk and Reg in the bathroom, and Dirk is in the bathtub and he's trying to figure out how the bathroom controls work. And that's a little bit confusing to me just because we skipped over the whole part of them finding out where they are.
Right. Well, actually, I think Sally was the only one who moved in time because when she opened the door and went out of the bathroom, her position changed. I don't know that in this case the apartment changes because in the past, Reg has always exited a door into whatever reality he went into.
Oh, so the whole time machine might be confined to his bathroom now.
I think so. That's the thing I'm getting. I do think it's kind of funny, the little dialogue he has with Dirk about his memory, and because he says here, most of my theories about time are, alas, lost to the winds of
Time of time.
Precisely, he says. Oh. And then Dirk is trying to draw out more information from Reg, and Reg just says, I kind of twiddle with things and think about where I want to go, and that's how I get there.
Right. And so then I guess they know something is wrong because they've gone into the bathroom where Sally was, and Sally's not there.
That's correct.
But nobody ever said, so where do you think Sally went?
Nope, not at this point. They don't seem to be too worried about it.
No. We'll see if they get worried on page 5.
Mm-hmm.
So to continue on in the bathroom, Reg is still absolutely no help, saying that he's never looked under the hood, so to speak.
Mm-hmm,
and Dirk finally is talking into the shower like it was a telephone, asking when Sally Mills is.
Mm-hmm. And then it dawns on him that water is the medium, or the conductor.
Yes.
And he thinks to himself that if he runs the water and thinks of Sally, then he's going to find her. And it's a supreme sacrifice, but she's worth it.
Yes. His brain needs to be in contact with running water while thinking of Sally as he stares at the toilet bowl.
Right, exactly.
He's going to wash his head at them.
I guess so. He's going to wash his head at them. So it's like in the TV show where they transport bodies through water.
Right.
Like the scene in the shower.
And in the middle, I kind of like that Dirk is sitting there and he's thinking of all the inner workings of how things have to fit together. And Reg is thinking about tea.
Yep.
So page 6.
Oh my goodness.
So now we're looking up at Dirk through some sort of oval opening.
I wonder what that is.
Yes. And he says 1, 2, and then plunges his head into the toilet and screams, "When is Sally Mills?"
On the upper right-hand part of the panel, it says, I focused all my memories of Sally, willing Reg's eccentric time machine to take me to wherever and whenever she was.
Yes, and so in his mind, we're seeing memories of Sally Mills. So they all start out okay. It starts out with Sally fixing his broken nose, and Sally at the zoo, which we've seen. And then Sally seems to be being attacked by his cat Bernice, which I don't remember.
Right. I don't remember that either.
And then we seem to see the younger version of Dirk at age 6, not the crazy hair version, but a more realistic version, being treated by Nurse Sally Mills, wearing her sexy nurse costume, which obviously did not happen.
Right.
And then we see a very angry-looking Bernice. And Dirk is thinking, wait, that's not right. So as his memories are progressing, they're slowly and slowly getting further from what actually happened.
Right. It makes me wonder, is he now thinking more about Bernice than Sally?
That could be.
Who knows? Well, we should find out on the next page.
Yes, because he got flushed away and he is heading somewhere. So page 7. So we now have arrived back again with Sally in front of the television screens, and she's having a conversation with the voice that called out to her. She asks, "Who's there?"
And the voice says, I have many names, most of them terrible. I long for the simplicity of human naming conventions, Mills, Sally Mills.
Why do you keep calling me that?
Is it not your name?
Yes, it is. Well, kind of, but
Well then,
where am I?
nowhere.
Huh?
A place beyond place, a time outside of time. We are where one drops in to check on things.
So if I had to guess this guy's name, I'd say it's Slarty Bartfast, because he's the guy that never wanted to tell his name,
Nope.
and it was terrible.
Yes, terrible name, terrible name.
And so then Sally continues, "Check on Dirk? Why are you checking on Dirk? And who is this other person? He's familiar."
And the voice says, that is not another. We keep checks on all the singular ones you call Dirk gently. At all points, in all the time streams.
Time dreams? And then she reaches towards one of the TVs, puts her hand on it, and then she gets flushed into the TV and stretched out just like Dirk did down the toilet. So page 8.
All right. Why do I want to sing the fish slapping dance song?
Because it's a musical.
Oh my gosh. Now we get to the chapter title?
Yes. After, on page 8, we get to the chapter title, Sinkholes. So in the far top left of the page, we see Dirk kind of walking and dancing. And then he seems to come down some stairs dancing like he was in the movie The Joker.
Okay.
And the whole time, the voice is still talking, apparently to Sally, because that's the one that the voice was talking to, and basically saying that time is relative. And of course, if you want the little jokes that they're going to do, he says the second thing, well, not really the second, because things of this nature don't proceed in linear order. And then he talks about time streams being parallel. Well, not parallel, but because universes seldom tidy in wild, jagged, crazy patterns to each other, crisscrossing and diverging again and again and again. So he also mentions that there are fixed points in time that can't be changed. And there are individuals who are also in every version of reality, and those are called glitches. And apparently Dirk is a glitch. Wow. A curse and a damnation. Not a blessing.
Right. And the weirdness of this page is quite phenomenal.
Yes.
Other than the stairs, which Dirk is dancing down, we see Sally Mills in a Viking-esque costume with coconuts covering her breasts.
Well, those would be some very large coconuts.
They were very large coconuts. And then there's a whole panel of what was presumably Sally Mills with fish sticking out of her head.
Yes, a salmon hat.
A salmon hat, yes, a salmon hat. And then there's the reflection of the salmon hats in the strip along the middle, and for some unknown reason I cannot even begin to figure out, there is a picture of Sally being shown how to bowl by Dirk.
Yes.
Sally's got a bowling ball in her hand, and Dirk is trying to assist her in swinging it down across her body.
Yes.
I'm not at all sure why.
But do you understand the bottom one better?
Only slightly, because then Dirk becomes the ball, sliding down the alley between Sally's legs.
Multiple Sally's
legs, into a final square, which is a set of pins represented by fish, salmon.
Yes.
Flying every which way.
And Dirk and Sally are equally delighted.
Mm-hmm. Because apparently they got a strike.
Yes. Okay.
That poor boy is kind of sick, isn't he?
Yes. Page 9. Or page 9 and 10, because this is a double page. So Sally arrives in a forest that is full of military personnel wearing black, carrying machine guns on the hunt for somebody. And she lands hard on a tree branch.
And after she impacts the branch, she overhears the conversations of the soldiers, and they are what appears to be outside like a prison. And they said that they have their eyes on Project Incubus, and Project Incubus appears to be working with Subject Vogel.
Right.
And they think that's kind of weird.
Yes. And there are sirens going off at the prison and helicopter in the air. So in the helicopter is Colonel Riggins, and he's talking to the pilot, and he is saying, damn it, we should have known better than to put Vogel with them. And if you remember from the TV show, Project Incubus was the Rowdy 3. He called it adding napalm to dynamite. And he's also saying that there should be no live ammunition used because the subjects are to be captured unharmed. Repeat, unharmed.
Right. And in the final circle panel on the bottom, Sally says to herself, am I in Vietnam?
Yeah, you would think so from the forest they're in.
Right.
So we'll move to page 11. On this page, we see a younger kid looking up at the helicopter saying, I want to fly. And we see Colonel Riggins telling the pilot to get higher and to get higher. And he's like, but wait, we've got eyes on the targets. And he's saying, no, they have eyes on us. And then we see Sally has gotten out of the tree and she's running across a cliff top. And the leader of the Rowdy 3 is kind of whistling as he sees Sally in her dress flying behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sally looks down at him and she's like, cute. Wait, what is wrong with me? It's like she's trying to get out of there, but she's distracted by the cute guy, who then all of a sudden just starts unloading this machine gun. There's got to be 50 shell casings in this page.
Right. And then the other two of the rowdy three are throwing Vogel up towards the helicopter.
And Riggins is yelling for Project Incubus to stand down now. So page 12. So on the top of this page, we see that Vogel has successfully made it to the helicopter and is climbing in through a window saying, "That was fun."
And he wants to play with a joystick. I want to play with a stick.
And the pilot's yelling, "Stop, we'll all die."
Oh my gosh.
Riggins is telling Vogel that they're trying to help him.
Then we see Sally running towards what looks like a fence, and she's leaning up against a fence, and just as she's doing that, she hears a noise, and it turns out it's
Dirk at age 6, and he's doing karate, and he says, "Beware, I'm deathly." So this must be the prison break where all of the subjects who got out of the center or prison or whatever that is. Facility.
You got it.
So we'll go to page 13. So this is a nice innocent meeting between Sally and Dirk is basically trying to say that he's trained in the panda arts and in the 14 steps of champagne. And Sally's trying to correct him and said that he's not deathly, he's deadly, and he must have meant ninja instead of panda, and possibly Shaolin rather than champagne. But my name's Sally Mills.
And then he introduces himself as Vlad Shelley, a.k.a. Project Icarus.
And Sally's looking at him going, "Vlad? But that's... what? Wait." And then kind of squeezes his face around and pushes his cheeks in and up. And it's like, "Oh, that's weird. Okay."
And then, ba-boom!
Yeah.
Something explodes and the whole screen goes yellow.
You would imagine it was a helicopter crash.
Oh, could very well be. Let's find out.
Because we know those characters survived to do things later. It can't be, but could be a different universe.
That's true.
One of those jagged, crazy ones.
Yep.
Not a parallel one. So, page 14.
Okay, so on this page, we actually can tell that they are on the inside of the fence, where the institution is behind them, and there's a conversation now going on between Sally and Dirk. And Dirk starts by saying, "We need to get away from here."
And Sally says, yes. What is this place?"
And Dirk says, "Blackwing is a special facility for the training and protection of the world's most unusual individuals, wherein best to help them realize their potential of their gifts." That's what the Colonel says. Bart says it's a sinkhole in the universe's cosmic plan. They were training me to be a spy. But I love the fact that we hear Bart's name here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then Dirk continues, "I thought I would like to be a spy, but it turns out it's a bit lonely. Lots of being locked up in empty rooms with big mirrors."
And then I like the bottom two panels because they do something that's kind of neat. So the two panels together make a single picture. It's the fence outside the facility, and there's all of these signs: top secret, trespassers will be shot, keep out, danger. Yeah. And in the left panel, they're climbing over the fence, and Dirk is going under this razor wire. And in the right panel, the scene has progressed, and they're now walking away. So it's one background with two different scenes from two different times.
Right, exactly.
And Dirk says he has a question.
Right.
So we'll go to page 15 and see if they tell us what that question is. So as Vlad and Sally are walking hand in hand towards the sunset, Dirk is telling her how he's had dreams that she was in helping him with his cases because he dreams that he's a private detective when he grows up. And Sally thinks that's a good idea and that he'd be a very unique detective. And Dirk says, but no, that's not my question. So Sally says, what's your question?
And Dirk responds, well, my question is, if no private detective looks like a private detective, then how will I know what to look like?
And she says, here's my advice. It's all about the jacket. Get yourself a cool jacket and the rest will follow.
Jacket. Got it. Thank you, Sally Mills.
Yes, and she gives him a big hug thinking he's special.
Right. And the funny thing is now she's in the universe where it's the TV show, right? And he wears a yellow jacket.
Yes.
Not in her own universe. And why would she know he needed to get a cool jacket?
I don't know. Well, Dirk has a cool jacket. It's not a yellow jacket.
I guess that's true.
But he does have a unique cool jacket.
You got it. You got it. And once again, I want to comment here, at least on this particular page. I do like the style, the art style. The top left panel is a full bleed to the edge, and the bottom right channel is a full bleed to the edge as well, which makes it look graphically really interesting.
Yes. Yeah, it's very well done. So we'll move to page 16. So on this page, we're back to the troll again, and he has his sack full of cats, which they say there is nothing madder than a sack full of cats, and he is bringing it to a little girl that is holding the head of a hammerhead shark.
And of course, we know the reference to the TV show.
Yes.
So she's one of the older souls, like original souls from the soul swapping group.
That's where they're leading us to believe, but it doesn't make any sense because the original souls weren't anything part of Blackwing. They were just a bunch of hippies hanging out in a house that was owned by the guy.
Right. But this is the original universe where we started with Dirk and Sally. So this is back in reality, I guess. But that's weird. I don't know.
All of the original souls or the Cult of the Machine.
Cult of the Machine, right.
They were just hippies hanging out in the house that it magically showed up at.
Right.
They had nothing to do with Blackwing. They weren't special. They weren't whatever. They were just in the right place, right time. But this is definitely a callback to the hammerhead shark.
Right, exactly.
Because what's she saying she wants to do?
She wants to change all the kittens into other things.
Right.
Soul swapping.
Yes. So again, it is we'll call faulty memory.
Mm-hmm.
So page 17. So now we seem to be in another restroom where there is a concert happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Dirk comes flying out of the toilet into a stall.
Right. So the three guys that are hanging out at the urinal.
Hanging out. I get it.
Are having a conversation. So when they hear the commotion in the stall, they start worrying about the guy. They say, perhaps the drugs were keeping him blocked up, and another one of them suggests that X-Lax may help, and the third one asks if he's okay in there.
Right. Dirk's like, no, all good.
And then we go out to the concert where we hear the song being sung.
And the lyrics are, bring me up to the burn of the light. But what I liked on the top was during the conversation of these guys at the urinal, they're really not liking the music, but one of them thinks that the new drummer's hot.
Oh, there you go.
And
yep.
so wondering if the concert is going to be by Mexican Funeral.
Right.
The punk band by Todd Brotzman and his sister Amanda, who was called drummer through the whole TV show.
Right.
So page 18.
And there we see Amanda.
Yes.
And there's definitely a mosh pit of crazy characters going on. I don't see Todd up on stage, but maybe he's got longer hair than I realize.
Yeah, I don't. It looks like an all-female band.
It does look like an all-female band. And on the bottom of the page, we find Dirk trying to interrogate the bartender, seeing if he knows where Sally Mills is.
Yes.
And then he says that he'd like a gin and tonic. Tanqueray if you have it. And here's a tenner if you've seen this lady.
And the bartender's looking at it and says, oh, she's pretty, but no, I've not seen her. And what's a tenner? Because by looking at the crowd, not going to be traditional money being exchanged.
I don't think so.
Page 19. And on this page, all of a sudden you hear somebody yell, she's having a fit, and call an ambulance. And Dirk rushes to the stage to see
Amanda with her pararibulitis in full flame.
Yes.
It's just basically a white-hot scene of flames shooting out of Amanda.
Yeah, being brought up to the burn of the light.
Mm-hmm. And on the bottom of the page, it says, to be continued.
Yes.
Well, frankly, that was pretty exciting. And I can't wait to hear our next theme song.
Okay. Neither can I, because I've done these first two.
Now it's my turn.
Now it's your turn.
You bet. I've got an idea. I hope I can make it work.
The funny thing is, there's nothing to make work. I'm amazed. I just typed this crap into a prompt and you hit compose or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this is fun.
Well, next time it'll be my turn to try to come up with the lyrics and push the right buttons for the theme song.
And I guess I will say that the longer it goes on, the harder it is going to be to come up with new lyrics, because all the easy ones are taken.
Yes, exactly. That is a challenge. That's definitely a challenge. Well, now that we've reached the end of this comic, what's next, Jeff?
Well, no surprise that next will be issue 3 of Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency, A Salmon of Doubt. To see what happened to the flaming drummer from the last page of this issue.
She's definitely hot, though.
She is hot. Yes. So, now that that's out of the way, I guess I have to say that this is the end. Thank you for listening to this. A new episode is released on the first Thursday of every month. Visit our website at digitalwatchesareaprettyneatidea.buzzsprout.com. While there, you can find links to all of my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy inspired t-shirt designs. You can contact us via email at digitalwatchespodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook at Digital Watches Are a Pretty Neat Idea. You can message us on Twitter, or should I say X, at Watches Idea, and our Instagram is Watches Idea Podcast.
This has been a Froods for Thought production, darling. This has been a Froods for Thought production, darling. This has been a Froods for Thought production, darling. This has been a Froods for Thought production, darling. This has been a Froods for Thought production.